Welcome back. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa says government will hold an imbiso with Kagiso residents regarding zamazamas and illegal mining in the area. It seems the community struck gold as they located where alleged illegal miners clean raw materials. This as Ekurhuleni Mayor and police officials are searching for illegal miners. ENC's Manqoba Mchunu is following developments and he joins us now live to give us the latest. Manqoba, a little earlier on we were showing viewers some of the visuals that are coming out of Kagiso at the moment. Just give us an update of what's happening where you are.
Well, Maseko, we are here in Manceville, which is one of the areas where we saw protests igniting again this morning, of course, spreading from Kagiso, where we saw quite a number of community members yesterday taking to the streets and really looking for illegal miners in that community and, of course, closing some of those illegal mining shafts in that particular area. So we saw some residents this morning here in Manceville also, following suit from where Kagiso residents had left off. They were also going around here, going to the caves here nearby, as well as a nearby, area where there are, alleged illegal mining operations taking place there. But of course, the community members were saying that they believe that those illegal miners had, shifted from Kagiso and that they'd gone underground and came to this side of the West Rand. And so they were really searching for them this morning, looking for them there at the caves and trying to locate perhaps if they can, find some of them there. But we understand, Maseko, that that particular protest has now been halted for now. What the community members are telling us here is that they are still waiting for the mayor here in the West Rand, for the Mogale City Mayor, Tyrone Gray, to come back at 4 o'clock. They're saying that there will be a meeting that will be taking place in this community at 4 o'clock, when they're then going to proceed to those shafts where they intend, of course, to close some of those shafts. They're saying that they're waiting for the mayor to come with the TLBs or those machineries or tractors that will come to help them to shut off those particular areas. So the community is saying that at this point they are still waiting for that to happen this afternoon. So for now, I can tell you, Masiko, that things have quietened down here in Manceville, as community members say they're still waiting for that meeting with the mayor this afternoon.
Of course, Manqoba, it looks like the situation is spilling over in the entire West Rand at the moment. It started off, of course, in Krugersdorp in retaliation of the gang rape of those 8 women. And then we saw Kagiso, etc., also joining in. So I imagine that the situation is still quite tense, although quiet.
Indeed, Masiko, the situation is still quite tense. In fact, I can tell you that in the morning we also attended to another shutdown. That one was taking place in an area not known as Ritfale, which is not far from Kagiso. And that's where we saw residents there also taking to the streets over the issue of illegal mining in that particular area. They actually closed off a main reef road in the morning. And there were police, of course, at that protest. They were able to, of course, disperse those protesters. But we also heard, Masiko, of protests as far as Bekkersdal, which is another area here in the West Rand where we know that illegal mining is also rife in that particular area. So we're told that there are pockets of protests that are taking place in the different areas here in the West Rand. There's Manceville. We're also hearing reports that there are possible protests that are taking place in West Village. I don't know what is happening here behind me, but I can see that these were some of the protesters that were earlier here on the streets of Manceville. They were a part of the group that was protesting here. That tells you, Masiko, just the extent of the problem here on the West Rand. The illegal mining problem, the Zamazama issue here is quite a big one. And these community members will tell you, Masiko, that the crime in this area is out of control because of illegal mining operations here. They're saying that these illegal miners are really holding these, these townships and these residents, to a stage that these residents fear for even walking on the streets, Masiko. And so that's what we've been hearing from community members, of course, who say that even the police are not doing much to try and curb some of these situations that are happening here in their communities.
All right, Manqoba Mchunu live for us in Manceville. In fact, we are joined by our other colleague, Nqobile Madlala, who I think was giving us the visuals, those live visuals that you were seeing on the other side of your screen while the president was delivering his speech at that summit. Nqobile, earlier we saw those visuals that you were giving us in terms of what community members are doing and continuing with taking the law into their own hands. Are police around you as well?
Well, Masejo, quite a lot happening in this community. You remember West Village is one of those communities that have highlighted that the crime is very rife in the area. So now what they've done is, what you see there burning is essentially people's stuff. They've decided to break into houses of what they call illegal or suspected illegal miners' houses, and they continue now to burn essentially what is their stuff. As you can see there, some of the beds, some that was used, is coming, Masejo. They're saying that the crime in the area of the people here to speak to us about these problems. That is affected by these issues here at the moment.
Akati lapha abantu asibamba inkunzi la. Asibamba inkunzi la abasuthu la. Bonke abantu. Manje abantu ba protest la. Bafuni ukuthi la bantu baphume ngoba bahle bakhona endlini lapha hlala khona.
Manje lezi zinto lezi abayishisa ezoba.
Izabasuthu lesi. Bana bahlala khona la.
Manje nisabe ukuthi bazobuya.
Asazi ukuthi bazobuya or kanjani ngoba hey asazi lisazi ukuthi bakuphi asazi ukuthi bakuphi.
All right. Baba, you don't know anything. Well,
all right, it looks like there is a bit of an issue in terms of connection to Nqobile Madlala. Of course, she's in Kagiso, where residents are continuing with that protest. They're going door to door themselves and dealing, as they say, with alleged zamazamas and taking them to the police. Continuation from what we saw yesterday. Of course,